Hi and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be looking at what are their hidden thoughts and secret feelings about you and the connection. There are 3 groups to choose from. Group 1 is the Selenite, along with these cards. Group 2 is the purple Fluorite, along with these cards. And group 3 is the ruby Zoisite, along with these cards. So if you want to take a moment to center, focus on your breathing, and feel whichever group, maybe multiple groups or perhaps all of the groups that you're most drawn to. I'll give you a minute to make your selection and then we'll get right into it. And there are timestamps in the description box of the video for each group if you would like to jump ahead, which I do recommend using so that you can skip over me shuffling cards in between groups to clear the energy of the group I've just read for and tap into the energy of the group I'm about to read for. So again, I'll give you a minute. Please use the timestamps and we'll get into your reading. Hi, Group 1. You chose the Selenite along with these cards, which I'll start with to see what are their hidden thoughts and secret feelings about you in the connection. We've got Justice, 9 of Swords, 6 of Pentacles, the Fool, Gift, New Life, and Meditation. So this person has been thinking heavily about something which occurred in the past in this connection. There is knowledge that they are coming to, some fears that they are maybe needing to work through about bringing some kind of an apology to you. If things are really quiet at this point in time between you and this person, it's full no contact, full separation. With this energy of meditation, they've been thinking a lot about what occurred in the past, maybe words that were spoken very harshly, very impulsively. And again, there's an element kind of fear or anxiety about the energy of needing to tie up some kind of a loose end in this situation. Again, with the energy of gift, some kind of an apology that is owed, a desire that they have with 6 of Pentacles to give that, to offer that to you, understanding as well that in order to free themselves from this kind of energy of regret, or to get the connection going in a new direction, to kind of loosen up the energy, break up the energy of this stagnation between the two of you, hurt feelings, disappointment, that it's going to require some action on their part, taking a leap of faith with the Fool, to reach out, to put down their pride and ego for a minute, and again with justice deliver that apology that is owed, in order to liberate the two of you, both for the potential of some kind of a reconciliation, a fresh start with this new life, breathing new life into what can develop between you in the connection, or even if this just provides some kind of closure for the two of you so that you can move off in a new direction in your own lives, to really, again, kind of tie up the loose ends that exist here. So again, if it's complete no contact, complete separation, they might even be, sort of giving the impression on social media, or just if you are hearing about this person out and about, maybe it seems that they've moved on in another direction. They haven't really thought about this, about what has happened in the past with this connection. They might be really putting out that kind of image that everything is fine, that they're very content with where they are. That this is something that this person is again thinking heavily about. There could be a degree of insomnia that goes along with this energy as well, where this is keeping them up at night. This reflection period that they are now in, trying to kind of put on appearances, put on airs that everything is all right, but a lot going on beneath the surface of this person. Feeling really bad for how they treated you, maybe taking you for granted, or again, some kind of words that were spoken very harshly, maybe even judging you at face value, judging this connection, very impulsively or very unfairly. That all of this is really coming to the surface for them. This can also relate to kind of a new situation that they have found themselves in, and maybe this was kind of an energy of the tables having turned. Somebody new that they had entertained romantically, who ended up treating them the same way that they treated you in the past, judged them, were very harsh with them, cut off communication or contact in a very abrupt manner, and that all of this has really been food for thought for this person. It's brought their attention back to what has occurred between you in the past, and kind of very acutely feeling that anguish of getting their hopes up that love had finally arrived for them, or that things were going really well, maybe in this other connection, in this other situation with this new person, maybe even somebody that they chose over you, only to have the rug pulled out from under them, the bottom kind of drop out, and again through sort of experience, they're now feeling what they put you through, and in some way, as they are in the process of kind of dealing with that pain and that confusion on their end, it's bringing their attention back to what has occurred in the situation. Also, I'm kind of drawn to this empty chair here in the Justice card, and there's a sense of this person really feeling that they failed you in some way, that they didn't show up for you when you needed them the most. They didn't follow through on promises that they had made. Again, this kind of energy of being very cruel, very callous, very unkind with the way that they cut off contact in this situation, or really, again, kind of making promises but not following through on that, not delivering on that, and that this is really stuck with them. This is something which is really surfacing for them again and again. It's something that's really coming to their attention at this point in time, either through some kind of experience that they've had outside of this connection with you that's kind of brought that point home. It's made that very brought in that kind of awareness to this person, that in order to kind of find and create that closure and that healing for themselves, that in some way this is tied to maybe reaching out and giving you some kind of vindication, presenting that with gift and justice, that kind of apology, that explanation, even if it's something which just closes the chapter for the two of you, and you're able to move forward in some way, that there are these thoughts and these feelings that liberation is necessary, that they owe that to you, and in some way that this is tied to their own liberation in a sense. This new life in the Fool can also talk about somebody who has a deep desire to either rekindle a friendship with you, to start fresh and maybe build from the ground up in this situation. Somebody who had really held themselves back emotionally, maybe had a lot of emotional wounds that they had not dealt with from previous heartbreaks that might have resulted in them kind of pushing this connection away in a very callous manner, in a very cold manner, because they were not at the place of being ready to deal with those things, or maybe weren't even aware of those things within themselves. But that something has really shifted in the time that you've been apart, in this space, in the silence, where they're really recognizing that part of that healing journey within them, recognizing a lot of these wounds that have been festering, that they've been carrying around, that has kind of pushed wish fulfillment, it's pushed the gift of this connection away, or other opportunities to really start fresh in their life, new experiences in romance and in other capacities. That there's this knowledge that in order to really have that, to really turn the page, in order to provide again themselves with some kind of healing, it requires healing in a certain extent in this connection, reaching out with some kind of a communication, not with the expectation of results, but just because it's the right thing to do, or it's something that they feel is owed to you at this point. It feels like for a lot of you, this is somebody who would be content to just start off very simply with you, start off as friends, try to rebuild this situation kind of from the ground up. But there's a little bit of anxiety and uncertainty as well if it's too little too late. So that fear is kind of holding them here at the edge of action. They're thinking about this. They have this knowledge that something needs to give, something needs to shift, something needs to change, that the power is in their hands at this point in time to get those wheels turning, to kind of unstick the energy between the both of you. And it's something that they're kind of right on that precipice of doing something, taking some kind of an action, opening up their heart in a deeper way than they had before, providing you with the gift of explanation, some kind of closure even, or just really revealing a part of themselves, maybe talking about some of these difficulties that they'd experienced in heartbreak in the past that had kept them kind of unable to open up or give more fully to this connection in the past, that might have left you with a lot of anxiety, a lot of questioning, a feeling of injustice having been done, something where you've really been soul searching, trying to figure out what went wrong. Things were going so well, and then all of a sudden this person went cold or withdrew themselves. And so they're understanding that something more is required than what they've given up to this point in time, and that they really, again, kind of owe you that explanation, and that it kind of goes in hand with this healing that they know needs to take place within them, something that's been brought into their awareness, maybe even through just reflection or some kind of a spiritual practice that they have taken up for themselves, something that has really shifted in their life to where they're starting to address these wounds within them and starting to see how things, almost like the baggage from the past, ghosts of the past that they've been dragging along with them, people that really hurt them and disappointed them, that are still having an effect on them here in the present. And it's these thoughts and feelings about these other situations, these other kind of haunted aspects of their soul and of their heart from the past, that is bringing their attention back to how they almost deprived you of the gift of connection, how they deprived themselves of the gift of what you had to offer, the cup of love you had to offer, this opportunity for kind of a fresh experience in love, a new start in love, writing the story in a different manner than what they'd experienced. This is somebody who sees you now from this perspective, while they may have kind of misjudged this before, harshly judged this, or kind of pushed you away, kind of given up to a certain point in time only to withdraw themselves. Kind of the hindsight that they have, or sort of the time and the space that you've had away from one another. It's really been a gift for this person. It's allowed them to see you with fresh eyes, and to see that, in making the choice that they had in the past to invest in fear, to invest in the status quo of kind of feeding into these wounds or these triggers or this kind of emotional constriction that they had going on, that it really was depriving them or denying this gift of kind of a new love, a new story in love, a new experience in love, that this connection and that the universe was really presenting them. So they see you as somebody who really is this doorway to healing for them, that by giving into this connection, they are essential, and kind of, even if it's just in the form of giving some kind of an apology, or for those of you where a fresh start would be entertained, where you would take this person back, you would start again in friendship with them, or open the door to romance again. They're really seeing this as a connection. It's an investment that will pay off. They're recognizing this as the situation that has the potential for a lot of reciprocity, a lot of deep soul healing. Again, this energy of kind of a fresh start, moving in a different direction, making different choices, and even the act of choosing to present an apology or to invest more into this connection. It represents a paradigm shift. It is that action that supports that desire for change within themselves and for their life. So in terms of hidden thoughts and secret feelings, there is this energy of renewal that they're thinking about, or at least moving out of whatever this energy is that you currently find yourselves in, whatever those scenarios are. The circumstances, the silence, kind of that stalemate energy, and these thoughts that they are having, and these feelings that they are having, that to continue on and kind of this lingering with a lot of things unspoken, a lot of unfinished business between the both of you, that it just adds further. It compounds the anxiety. It breathes life into that kind of energy of disappointment, and there is a desire with this person to move past that, to turn the page in some way, to create some kind of final closure for the two of you, or to at least maybe address kind of the elephant in the room, so that you can move beyond this. You can kind of clean the slate between the both of you, and embark on a new journey, a new phase, a new chapter of what is possible in this connection. So in terms of signs, with Justice, we have Libra, Swords is air energy, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, Pentacles is earth energy, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo, and the Fool is Aries. I'm going to get some messages from this person's higher self for you now, group 1. What do they want you to know? Okay, and they say, I have trouble with intimacy. So that was coming through in terms of that energy of the ghosts of the past that this person may be carrying around, almost punishing you inadvertently for sort of the ways in which others before you had been very careless with their heart. And this is something that is coming to this person's attention. This is also if they had maybe chosen to go in a different direction romantically, kind of choosing somebody else over you. It feels that there was a lot of letdown in that situation, that maybe when that person started to try and open up, or to really move into kind of the deeper layers of that situation, that they were met with ridicule, they were met with rejection. They were met with the energy of somebody who really withdrew from them, or just kind of abruptly cut off contact and communication. That all of this has really brought home that message that they have a tendency to kind of choose situations that almost unknowingly are a little more toxic for them, almost kind of reinforces the narrative that they've been telling themselves, maybe that love and disappointment are kind of in the same family, that love and loss is the story for this person, that things don't work out in love, that they're destined to just be hurt or let down. And it feels that with that kind of narrative, that self-fulfilling prophecy, that the choice to kind of move away from this connection in the past, or whatever it is they did or did not do, it was all kind of reinforcing that belief. Things might have been going very well with you, and so they felt this almost unconscious need to sabotage things in some way, to reinforce that idea that they had, that love and loss are in kind of the same sentence. It's the inevitable conclusion. They also say, I feel the sexual tension. So they're very drawn to you, very attracted to you. And still, after all this, however much time it has been, whatever has happened, whatever other relationships or situations they've been in, other people that they've been entertaining in their life, they still feel this deep magnetization to you. They still feel very compelled into your direction. They see you as somebody who not just, kind of in the mundane or in a physical sense, but something spiritually about you represents kind of this newness. It's a new expression. of maybe taking that sexual energy that in the past might have been used as kind of a weapon between people, or might have been the only basis, kind of the glue that held situations together. But with this connection, this person is really seeing this as an energy that can be used for a force of creation, kind of that chemistry that binds the two of you together as you're really exploring kind of these other dynamics and aspects of what can really develop. Again, this idea of this deep intimacy, that it's more than just about that physical attraction in this situation. There's something deeper here. There's something more intimate here. There's something that this person feels compelled toward in terms of you and the connection on a deeper level that might have been very triggering for them. And so they kind of retreated back into that comfort zone of maybe relationships that were just based on sex or on attraction or on lust, and kind of didn't really tap into those deeper kind of emotional layers, this comfort zone where, they weren't expected to open up and be vulnerable, but just kind of keep things very surface or very casual. They also say, I feel so drawn to you. So again, that idea of being very magnetized in your direction, very attracted to you. This is not an out of sight, out of mind situation. This person is thinking a lot, thinking heavily about what has happened in the past. Some kind of points of comparison that might be coming up for them as well in terms of other disappointments they've experienced with people. Maybe some of these more superficial connections that they have entertained, or, just the energy of wanting to remain single as opposed to really getting into a committed situation. And all of that has really led to some disappointment, to where they're drawn back almost to the sanctuary that this connection represents. The sense of the two of you being very compatible on so many levels. And it's so unlike what they have experienced in love up to this point or in a while. A lot of this could really remind this person as well, the energies between you, the circumstances between you, maybe of kind of their first love, their first major heartbreak, in some way, in terms of the feelings that have really come up, almost this giddiness, this idea of young love. And while they feel so compelled to that, it's also kind of brought up these wounds and these triggers about when they kind of gave into those feelings, they allowed themselves to explore those feelings with somebody in the past, and it ended up in a situation of loss. Again, they ended up very heartbroken, needing to pick up the pieces of their life, and in some way that experience kind of jaded this person or shaped this person, kind of constricted this person to where kind of the sensation of being very drawn, being very magnetized, being very excited, it fits into that same spectrum of what they experienced before, but they were, again, maybe misjudging you based on the results they had experienced with somebody else in the past. As time has kind of gone on and this person's had a chance to really reflect on things, really had a chance to kind of look in the mirror, or even some kind of epiphanies have come through for this person, some kind of realizations. There's a sense also with that fool energy of this person kind of feeling like a fool for having put you in the same box or same category with someone from their past that was very careless with their heart, and this desire to move towards you again, to either open the doors toward friendship or open the doors toward rebuilding this connection, moving forward from wherever you left things, with kind of an open heart, with an open mind, not bringing along this baggage from the past, but really taking things at face value, recognizing that whatever similarities might exist between you and somebody else, or these circumstances and something else they'd experienced, that this is a fresh energy, this is a new opportunity. This connection in some way has been kind of divinely orchestrated as that potential to rewrite the story of love, to heal some of these wounds that they've been carrying around from the past as well. And they say, please be patient with me. I am healing my heart. So that's that energy of these wounds from the past that have kind of been playing puppet master to this person in a way. Where they may have judged the connection unfairly, harshly, abruptly, allowed themselves to be very triggered by kind of this urge to be intimate, this urge to open up emotionally, which they are saying they have trouble with intimacy. And so kind of when that threshold was reached and the connection was ready to develop into the next stage, next level, for whatever, however that resonates for you in your situation, that this person really pulled back. They pulled into that comfort zone. They recoiled recoiled from that. That potential of experiencing something so beautiful that comes also with the potential of, experiencing great loss and disappointment if that were to fade, or that were to, maybe turn out to be not everything that they thought it was. This person, it feels, is also very cautious about not allowing themselves to kind of get carried away with fantasy, that might have been kind of an issue with them in the past, giving too much of themselves, opening up too quickly, falling too deeply too soon for somebody. And so somewhere along the lines, they kind of made a promise to themselves, or a vow to themselves, they weren't going to open themselves up in that way to another again. And while that might have been a very important kind of defense mechanism at some point, it almost feels that it's become a prison for this person, to where they now are starting to realize that while they have kind of succeeded in protecting themselves from, just being very kind of careless with who they are letting into their heart and who they're letting into their energy. While it was necessary to have some discernment, they've almost crossed a line in that sense and pushed away an energy and an experience that would have been very healing for them, that would have been kind of the one that they should let in, and instead they had kind of pushed that away. So all of that is something that they're really coming to terms with. They're having a lot of anxiety about that, a lot of, again, feeling like a fool for having let you go. They also say, I could listen to your voice all day and all night, like a lullaby. It is music to my ears and soothes my soul. So they may be replaying conversations in their mind that the two of you had, and really seeing things from fresh eyes, seeing how they might have misjudged things that you said, misconstrued things that you said, or kind of overlooked some things that were major indicators or clues that the potential of what this situation could grow into was so different from what they'd experienced in the past. They're recognizing that you really took the time to actively listen to this person, to respect this person, that you were actually interested in this person, that there weren't kind of the ploys or the tricks maybe that other people had used to kind of gain access to them, or to really present this facade of being something that they're not. This person is recognizing you as a very genuine person, very genuine energy. They could also be sort of replaying voicemail messages maybe that you left for them. Or if you are a singer, maybe you make music, they could be listening to the music that you make and just really tapping into that, touching on that vibration, really feeling your heart and soul coming through in that form of art that you produce. Maybe you're somebody who does a podcast, or you have a YouTube channel, something where your voice is out there, and it feels that this person is really, they're listening to that, they're actively engaged in that. Almost that it's not a direct conversation with them, but in some way they are connecting with you at the soul level. And as they are doing that, as they are able to then even feel into the vibration beyond the words that you are speaking, it's touching them at the soul level. It's bringing their awareness to the fact that whatever has happened in the past or up to this point in this connection, that this is not the energy that can or should continue, that something needs to be brought forth, something needs to be presented, either in terms of an apology and, an explanation for having misjudged you, for having been very harsh and cruel in this situation, letting you know that you didn't deserve that, or just kind of trying to explain themselves in some way. And also this desire that they have, again, by being touched at the soul level by you, just by the vibration that you emit beyond the words that you are speaking. It is creating the sense of certainty within this person that, as much as fear might have gotten the better of them in the past in this situation, that you're somebody who speaks to them at the soul level, that this connection, their attraction to you, it's beyond skin deep. That in some way you are kind of a source of healing for this person, that to participate more in this connection, to open themselves up more to this connection, to create the change necessary so the two of you can have a fresh start, either as friends and you build from there, maybe you stay friends, maybe it's opening the door to romance again, that in some way this is a necessary step in their kind of soul's evolution, and they're starting to recognize that it's an area of healing that they need to provide for you, and is also very necessary for their own healing, to not kind of remain in the shadows, not remain in this energy of silence and kind of watching from afar. They also say, every time I see you in my dreams, I never want to wake up. So you could be meeting with this person in the astral realm, having conversations even. That can really relate to this idea of listening to your voice all day and night, maybe things that you are saying to them, interactions that you are having in this kind of dream space that is sort of that introduction to the healing that needs to take place in the 3D, in the physical world. And it's something to where, you know, a lot of that resistance that they might have had in kind of a mundane sense, kind of ego and pride getting in the way, the wounds that they had, prohibitions they had around their heart, maybe not wanting to let love in again. And that caused them to kind of push you away, push this connection away, that in some way these walls are kind of being broken down. They're being broken through in kind of a more subtle and etheric manner, in the form of dreams, in the form of daydreams even, as they are, if they are able to tap into you, you know, in the sense of hearing your voice in some manner, even kind of old messages or conversations, or just replaying in their mind interactions that they've had with you. When they go into that space, when they kind of enter that zone, it provides them with so much healing and so much clarity, just in a very kind of subtle and immediate way, that this is really providing that point of contrast for this person, that they can't go on with things as they are, that the status quo, whatever the situation is with you currently, that this is not where they want to leave things. There's this desire to kind of wake up out of some kind of a daydream even that they've been having, some kind of an illusion that they've been having, ways in which they've tried to convince themselves that their actions and their choices were right, it was the right thing to do, that they're really starting to see that they made the wrong choice. They chose the path of fear over the path of love, and there's this desire to kind of switch directions, to come out from that kind of remote space, that sort of 5D level, just this energy of kind of watching from afar, or really just dreaming of a new opportunity, and kind of this desire that is building within them to take a chance to, you know, get their thoughts together, collect their words, create something of substance and value and meaning and depth that they can then present, that either provides that closure to the both of you and liberation from, you know, wherever you left off with one another, or it's that that kind of offering, that gift that really helps to move things in the direction of cleaning the slate between the both of you, so that a fresh start in whatever capacity is possible. So I'm going to get some guidance for you now, group 1. Okay, and we have new love. Embrace an opportunity for love in your work prospects or for spiritual growth. So that really confirms this idea of kind of the new life and the Fool. And this is really Spirit encouraging you to be open-minded about what can develop in this circumstance, in this situation. If this is somebody that you would entertain bringing back into your life in a romantic capacity, this is really guidance to, you know, again, move forward with your own life, focus on your own abundance. And it's never a good idea to be a placeholder and to just kind of stagnate and actively wait for somebody. But you can certainly keep kind of a grain of hope alive. You can keep that door open a crack, so that if and when they are ready to enter, you are in a place of receptivity. Kind of not basing your life and your own healing and on the actions of others, seeking to create closure for yourself in whatever way you can, in whatever way is necessary or resonates for you. But this is really kind of speaking to kind of the remote possibility also, that, or what you may have looked at as a remote possibility with all these shooting stars. This is almost the energy of kind of a wish granted, somebody that you had hoped would really see the light, see the errors of their ways, would apologize, would create some kind of a closure. And for a lot of you, this can really talk about this person in the midst of kind of crafting that, creating that to bring that forth. This can also talk for some of you about this person reaching out across the distance, across time, coming to you in a very humble energy, with their heart open, with kind of everything out there on the table, giving you that offering, giving you almost that idea of the wish coming true of somebody who, you know, admits that they were wrong, admits that, you know, they were operating out of a wounded state. And again, that closure that can be provided then for the two of you, so that you can move forward, so you can unfetter yourself from whatever the situation was, and the energies that have been kind of held on to even unconsciously in some capacity. Or this can even be somebody who comes in that energy of humility, who comes in that energy of being very self-aware. And it's that energy that is the right recipe for a new beginning, for the possibility of new love to develop between the both of you. This is also really indicating guidance from Spirit in terms of new love. That, again, this idea of creating closure for yourself in some capacity, that this situation in some way, as much as you might have moved forward, there is this energy of being almost stuck. In some way, that this situation with this person may have really jaded you, contorted you, kind of distorted your view of love. It might have made you put up a lot of walls and a lot of barriers against letting love in. And Spirit's really guiding you that now's the time to, again, don't wait for this person to bring that apology, but maybe seek to kind of unbind yourself from those cords in some kind of way. That love is out there on the horizon for you. And if you're carrying around kind of what happened with this person and with this circumstance, and there's a great likelihood of sort of mimicking what they might have done, kind of the ghosts of the past that sort of were carried along unconsciously with them, that interfered with their ability to give and receive love in this situation. And it's guidance to not follow down that same road, not fall into that same trap unwittingly, where new love that may present itself to you, a heart that is ready to receive you and can appreciate you and can reciprocate with you, to take this time to really do that healing work, create that forgiveness for yourself, in yourself, without the need of direct intervention from this person, so that you are able to then free yourself. You're able to then, have kind of these boundaries around your heart that is more like a gate that is able to be opened, as opposed to a fortress that kind of contains and keeps you cloistered away. That either in the form of this person or somebody new, that love is on the horizon for you, and that kind of the situation with them at this point in time, it's an opportunity for healing. For some of you, this is healing that they will provide, that they will come forth, that they will bring this forth, and it creates closure or helps you to move in a new direction with one another, or that this is really the time to kind of dig a little bit deeper into the ways in which you are seeking to heal from the disappointment of this, so that the wounds of this person that you have experienced are not then kind of transferred onto you, carried along with you in your own journey, to where you're then limiting your capacity to experience the gift of love that presents itself to you in the form of another connection down the road. So I'm going to get some initials for you now. Group 1, this can be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Got V, F, W, S, D, L, O, X, Z, C, T, H, and M. So those are your messages, group 1. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. When you do that, it helps the video to reach others who might resonate with these messages, get some kind of peace or confirmation from what came through in the reading. And it also helps my channel to grow, so I deeply appreciate that. If you would like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry, and I just started making and selling handmade dream catchers and sun catchers. So if you're interested in checking any of that out, again, the link is in the description box of the video. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 2. You chose the purple fluorite, along with these cards, which I'll start with to see what are their hidden thoughts and secret feelings about you and the connection. Got the High Priestess, Three of Swords, Two of Pentacles, Judgment, False Person, Thinker, and Golden Memories. So with the Three of Swords, this person is thinking back on maybe some kind of a fight that happened between the both of you, some kind of a heartbreak, maybe through some deception that took place with this false person, lies that were told, or kind of some things maybe with Two of Pentacles that this person was juggling, maybe you and another person that they were juggling, and that when all of this kind of came out into the open, became known, that it led to a lot of disappointment and heartbreak. It feels like for everybody involved. This feels like this could be somebody that, again, was maybe just entertaining you and then flirting with somebody else, talking with somebody else, neither party really knowing about the other. And this person kind of just almost this energy of trying to have their cake and eat it too, kind of biting off more than they could chew. And that sort of when this all came out into the open, it kind of disrupted this kind of situation that they had going on. They found themselves at a loss with both you and this other party. This can also really talk about somebody who, if this doesn't involve a third party, some kind of karmic relationship, karmic partner, this can talk about somebody who maybe prioritized even sort of the opinions of other people, allowed that to really interfere in this connection, in how much they were willing to invest. Somebody who, was maybe sort of going through the motions of being very invested in this situation, but at the same time had people in their ear kind of telling them that they could do better, that they should look elsewhere, maybe giving them a lot of false information as well, seeking to kind of sabotage the connection for a variety of reasons. Maybe other people in their life who were judging you unfairly, and kind of this fear maybe they had as well of what other people would think if they took this connection to the next level or continued to invest in this connection. And so a choice was made to kind of move in the direction of the interest of what these other people would think, to sort of fit into that prescription for themselves, as opposed to where their heart was really calling them and drawing them, which could have led to a lot of heartbreak, a lot of isolation. It almost feels like kind of the energy of a sand castle, that by choosing the road that other people had laid forth for them, it's kind of led to this feeling of isolation, of loneliness, things being very scattered, things not really making sense for this person, some kind of equilibrium that they had, some kind of a sense of peace and balance that they had with you while in your presence, even energetically with you, that choosing a different route, choosing to move away from this, choosing to reject this connection, that it has thrown everything off balance for them in a lot of ways. It's been something that they've really been struggling and have not successfully been able to kind of regain that equilibrium from this circumstance. And through that kind of idea, it feels that also they're really, they're thinking back on how they gave you almost a false impression of themselves. They held back or denied a part of themselves, a part of their heart to you, and feeling that was almost a disservice, that what you saw of this person, what was displayed of this person, this feels like a very almost kind of superficial or judgmental kind of energy, kind of a lot of masks and deceptions and duplicity that this person was really displaying, that there's an energy of regret around that. There's an energy of really recognizing how kind of trying to play both sides of the field, or kind of presenting all these different kind of personas, having all of these kind of things that this person is trying to juggle, being one way with you, another way with other people, another way with still other people, that all of that really came crashing down, and that it's been giving them this opportunity to really reflect upon that, to reflect on kind of this level of inauthenticity that they've been used to going through the world with. And in some way, this connection, what they experienced with you, you touched on that core of authenticity in this person that others have not really been able to see or to access, because they put on these kind of masks. They presented these kind of facades. And with the High Priestess, this can talk about kind of this deep and secret knowing that, again, you somehow have really tapped in beyond those masks, beyond those personas, to kind of the heart of the matter, to who this person is very authentically, and they're thinking and feeling about how they were so drawn. There's almost this feeling of what if they had made the choice to lean more into that, to take down these walls, to take down these masks, because it even feels like the energy of perhaps even juggling somebody else, while it might have been very selfish in terms of that motivation, it almost feels like kind of the energy of self-sabotage, that because there was such a depth to the connection that they felt with you, they needed to kind of counterbalance that, bring something else in that was kind of at the opposite end of that spectrum, almost fearing kind of falling or succumbing into that state of authenticity of themselves, which they may have denied for so long, that it was almost necessary to then bring in other circumstances, lean heavily upon the opinions of other people, because they had come to really question and judge that authentic self. They'd come to build their life and rely upon these masks that they were presenting. And so again, as all of this kind of has fallen down, that decision was made, and it's kind of the energy of the wrong choice having been made, sitting with a lot of kind of what ifs. What would have happened if a different road had been chosen? That in kind of the aftermath of this, and kind of the mess and the chaos of what has been left, there is a lot of thought that is happening for them. They're thinking back on the times with you, the times that you shared, how they've not really been able to touch on that level of authenticity with another. Nobody's been able to reach them at that very deep level. They're seeing this connection and seeing you as very unique in that sense, that almost without trying, just you were deeply empathically connected to this person. You're able to intuit and kind of speak to them at that deep soul level, at that core level. This is somebody who is recognizing the ways also with this kind of golden sun here, and this is really talking about this solar plexus energy, that this connection really empowered them. This was a source of kind of showing up as a different version of themselves in the world. That there might have also been with this kind of this green sort of orb right here, a lot of heart chakra activation that took place within this person, or even kind of in the aftermath of a choice that was made, or something that came crashing down, came crumbling down, that there's been a huge shift within this person in some way, in the distance, in the silence, in the separation, in the aftermath of all of this. Three of Swords can also talk, for me as a reader, about heart chakra activations and almost kind of the physical pain that can be associated with that, those sensations, with all these kind of papers strewn about, that fluttering which occurs as kind of that chakra is being activated or upgraded or opened up even further. That sort of unbeknownst to you, these things have taken place. These things have really manifested, and it has given this person kind of a wider perspective. It's helping them to really see, to look in the mirror, to see themselves for who they are, for how they were kind of operating and moving through the world. Even things, kind of these false personas that they were sort of stuffing themselves into and really presenting for the benefit of other people, for what other people would think, for how things looked. Somebody who was very concerned with appearances. But now that something has really shifted and kind of crumbled and fallen apart, now that your presence is kind of more remote in their life, or again, this kind of rejection or this sort of falling apart has happened, that in the distance, in the space, they're thinking about this. They're thinking back on the times that you shared. They're seeing you from a new perspective. There's this deeper appreciation that is really culminating for you, and this desire, almost with the judgment, this kind of wake-up call. This can also really talk about spiritual awakening. So we've got this heart chakra activation, this spiritual awakening. So this person could be kind of going through a dark night of the soul currently, or something has really come to their attention, that it's almost whatever ways in which they sabotage this situation. It's been a period of reckoning for them. It's almost that they are needing to kind of sit acutely in that, kind of as these sensations are activating, as these parts of themselves, these doors are opening, and they are able to really, again, kind of look in the mirror and see very clearly sort of the what they were investing in and the choices that they were made, and how that was almost just kind of feeding further into a void at the expense of something that had the potential to be very productive and fulfilling and uplifting for them. That by feeding into these personas, they have essentially denied themselves the ability to really step more fully into the potential of what love could be, how that could be experienced. A lot of intuitive knowing that is coming through, a lot of downloads that they might be getting, or again, kind of epiphanies, this idea of a rude awakening that has happened for this person. And that's not to, gloat about that, or to say, oh, good, they're finally realizing it, good, let them sit in their misery. It's a necessary process in order to feel that kind of loss, and to gain that perspective that how one has been moving through life has been very artificial. It has been at a disservice to other people, and therefore a disservice to themselves. Kind of feeling that very acutely, feeling that loss, feeling that widened perspective. That is kind of the necessary prelude to change taking place. It creates that element of choice to continue on down that road, to continue on in that method of kind of moving through the world, or treating people, or being careless with people, careless with people's feelings, investing too much in this energy of people pleasing, or very concerned about appearances, not following the heart. That this stage that this person is in, this stage of reflection, this stage of really acutely feeling things, having this fresh perspective on kind of the love that they had the potential of and what was lost in this situation, that all of this is a very necessary kind of phase of their journey that they are at, so that if change happens, this is that crossroads, this is that, that valley that they must walk through. This is that period of kind of everything turning and everything shifting for this person, that then through kind of not just this connection, but other areas of their life, it feels like that are really being brought to their attention, kind of a method of having kind of moved through the world up to this point in time, that thoughts of you, thoughts of this connection are kind of that crucial sort of pivot point. It's one road compared to another. It's the road of love versus the road of fear. This person having chosen the road of fear in the past, bringing in other circumstances, entertaining other energies, with the subconscious and deep knowing that sooner or later these things would come out and the good thing that they had would be destroyed. Choosing to invest too heavily in the opinions of other people, knowing that by doing that, it's making them more remote from the truth of their own heart. That all of this has now come to kind of a crashing halt. There's been a lot of shakeup, a lot of turmoil. The way that they are seeing you and seeing this connection and everything that unfolded, their role in all of this, the choices they are made, they are feeling this more acutely now. They're feeling it very viscerally, very physically, very literally in their life. A lot of things just kind of being turned upside down, including kind of the potential of what they are maybe seeing as sort of kind of the lesson in this experience. This doesn't really feel anyone who's at the point right now of necessarily thinking that it's possible to turn the page in this situation. This feels like somebody who's really, their thoughts and feelings, their secret thoughts and hidden thoughts and secret feelings are really this sense of perspective, this very rude awakening that is happening for them about how they treated you, about how they acted in disservice to their own highest good, to their own heart by their actions or the choices that they made in the past. This is someone who doesn't feel that they are at the point of seeing a way out of this, or that change in this circumstance is possible. This doesn't feel like somebody who's thinking about the potential of renewal in this situation, or is even at the point in their journey and of their ascension to recognizing that, an apology, even an apology in the form of change behavior, could go very far in terms of turning the page. But this is somebody who's, gotten a lot of deep reflection. It's becoming very apparent to them, kind of what they chose to move towards, what they chose to invest in, the vibration that they were holding, and kind of the consequences that has had. Sort of this truth and this knowing that they have essentially put themselves at a distance. They've almost put themselves in this kind of valley energy, where now it's this process of kind of clawing their way almost back up out of whatever this awareness is, whatever this fresh perspective is, kind of this very harsh reality as well, that there's nowhere left to hide, there's nowhere left to run from this. Memories of this connection, of what has happened. Again, this idea of a rude awakening is really bringing it to the forefront of this person at this time, that that change is necessary, change internally within themselves first and foremost, that they can't keep going through their life like this. They can't keep treating people like they are disposable. They can't keep operating out of that energy of the false persona, that to do that is just to replicate these results over and over again. So kind of in relation to this connection, they're now again at that sort of crossroads point where that work needs to be done very internally, first and foremost, before they could even fathom or conceptualize or begin to think up the possibility of sort of change in these circumstances. But they are reflecting very heavily upon what happened. If some of you have kind of been feeling very jilted in this situation with good reason, going through the same kind of chaos and turmoil in your own right, with all these mirrors here on this judgment card. It feels like a very mirrored process, that whatever sort of heart chakra activation you went through, whatever spiritual awakening you went through, this person is now kind of in that landslide in their own life and their own capacity, really needing to sit with this, sit in the space of quiet, sit in the space of keeping their own counsel. Somebody who's really keeping this very close, very cloistered within them, trying to just kind of maintain their stability in whatever way that is possible in the aftermath of what has happened. And there are all these reminders that are kind of bringing it home to them, that whatever was done in this situation, the choice that was made, that was a crucial moment in their existence that really helped to kind of stir and change everything up. It's almost the idea of the straw that broke the camel's back. So they are reflecting upon this connection, but again, just almost in an internal sense of having to look in the mirror about how they've kind of been moving through the world and dealing with people, treating people, how they may have, really taken love for granted and sort of pushed this connection away in the interest of just kind of maintaining or generating circumstances that would inevitably lead to kind of more of that energy of sort of this falseness, retreating authentically, deeply within themselves, and just presenting almost this straw man or straw woman, this kind of persona, this very kind of loose and shaky mask out into the world, and that the time for that is really done. And so kind of on the subconscious and soul level, sort of following suit in whatever process you've had to go through to pick up the pieces in your life from all of this. This doesn't feel like very conscious thought, conscious feelings about, being inspired to change over what has happened here, but at kind of the soul level, There's been an awareness that has happened. There's some kind of a knowledge that has occurred that this circumstance, it's a key pivot point in this person's life to either continue to remain sort of stagnant in this energy, or it's an opportunity for growth in other ways. So in terms of signs, with the High Priestess, we have Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. Swords is air energy, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. Pentacles is Earth, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. And Judgment is Scorpio. So I'm going to get some messages from this person's higher self for you now, group 2, and see what do they want to say. Okay, and they say, I see life differently now. So that is that energy of the huge shakeup, the perspective, the wake-up call that this person has had based on what has occurred with you. Some other things that have crumbled, some tower moments, some shakeups, some things that have really been activated, opened in this person, information that's coming in, energies that are coming in, vibrations that are coming in. And it's something to where they're really starting to look in the mirror. They're kind of at that beginning stages of taking ownership for themselves, for their life, and really becoming acutely aware of how kind of their actions and their behaviors has kind of led to sort of this domino effect of disappointments, that by whatever it was that they did to kind of sabotage this situation, that it has been a very crucial moment of their life that has kind of led to kind of the revelation of a lot of other untruths that they might have been entertaining. And they also say, do I still have a chance? So again, this person is really deep in kind of this energy of a valley at this point in time. There's a degree of hopelessness that is going on where they're not entertaining the possibility at this time of reconciliation being possible. They're not entertaining the possibility that you would accept an apology for them, from them, even for closure. It's a lot of just sitting with their own shadow, looking at their own reflection at this point in time, and kind of this questioning of do I still have a chance? Is it too late to change my life? Is it too late to change how I am moving through the world? All this kind of damage that has been done through operating in this kind of false energy, this superficial energy, this kind of this energy of kind of hiding behind a mask, or contorting to other people's expectations, or not leaning into the authentic space within them, but just kind of seeking these almost these superficial things that looked really good on paper, as opposed to maybe things that really resonated with them at the heart level, that they're kind of, again, in this energy of sort of the dark night of the soul. Is it too late to change things? Or, has so much damage been done that there is no choice but to continue down the path that has been walked? They also say, I know you don't feel the same. So with this energy of a rude awakening, they're very aware, very acutely aware of the pain and the distress, kind of the anger and the sense of loss that their actions have inflicted upon you. If this is somebody who is very just kind of oblivious, kind of self-centered, not really taking other people's feelings into account when you were dealing with them, and when whatever this is, whatever choice that was made or ways in which they kind of abruptly or very harshly sort of cut off this connection, or their actions kind of led to it being dismantled and falling apart. There is a degree of reflection now that those tables have turned, that they have felt this, that they are going through this process of kind of unraveling and awakening within them, that it's not possible to go back in time in this situation. There's this awareness that whatever vibration they were operating at, whatever ways in which they were really presenting themselves to you in the past, that is all done. There would not be an entertaining of that any further. They're starting to really recognize kind of the flaws in that system, in the way in which they had been kind of moving around through the world and through this connection. And it's this notion, again, this acute sort of sense of disappointment, this energy of looking in the mirror, becoming very honest with themselves about sort of the feelings that their actions have generated in others, that it kind of feels it's beyond, at this point they're feeling it's beyond the realm of salvaging, They know you don't feel the same. They know that you don't see them in the same way that you once did, that it has been so grievous, whatever that they have done, or so cruel, or it led to so much pain and disillusionment for you, that it almost they're feeling it would almost take a miracle for you to allow them back into your life, for you to open your heart to this person again, that it would require massive change on their part in order to really be allowed back into the inner sanctum of your heart, and this sense that again there's no going back, that kind of this damage has been done. It's bringing this acute reflection as well to how they have sabotaged something that really touched them on the soul level, a connection that is very spiritual, that went beyond kind of these material things. It went beyond this falsity. You were able to perceive in beyond the mask that they put on, and it's bringing this sense of regret. It's giving them pause to reflect upon that, upon these memories that you shared, and how pure and true that connection was, despite the ways in which they tried to sabotage it, or actually sabotaged it. And it's a sense of, being very acutely aware, keeping that quiet to themselves, not at the point, obviously, of wanting to present that forth, but the awareness is there of kind of what they've done, the hurt that they have inflicted, and kind of the steps in the process and the time it must have taken for you to kind of pick up these pieces in your own life to create some kind of equilibrium for yourself. This person is now sitting in that energy, and they are acutely aware through their own experience of kind of the pain and distress that they caused you in the past. Okay, and they say, I can see clearly now. I am no longer in denial. So that is that energy of kind of these masks being torn away, the illusions crumbling down, this person being very acutely aware of kind of what they put you through, the feelings that they generated, kind of the results, the effects, the aftermath of how they had been moving through the world, just being very self-directed, very selfish energy, that it's no longer something that they can just choose to remain deliberately ignorant to. Again, that idea of the rude awakening that has come to this person, to where they are feeling what they put you through in some way. They are feeling this very viscerally, as that heart chakra is really activating, as it is really opening for them. They are no longer able to be in denial, as this card says. And then also, I see life differently now. So that perspective is widening. The things that they were valuing, that they were prioritizing, no longer hold as much meaning to them. And it's kind of leaving this person in a sense of feeling very lost at this point in time, feeling a lot of even kind of resentment and frustration with themselves for almost the persona that they had tried to carry, things that they'd invested in, the opinions of people, or even just with that element for those of you where it was kind of somebody juggling you and another person. It almost feels that they were kind of doing that in order to stretch their emotional resources so thin that it inhibited them from investing fully emotionally in the connection with you. That to kind of spread that out meant they didn't have to get too deeply into any one circumstance. They didn't have to be vulnerable. They didn't have to take the needs of other people into account. They didn't have to open themselves up to disappointment and heartbreak. They didn't have to open themselves up to somebody seeing deeply beneath and beyond that mask, and really uncovering a lot of the shadows and the wounds and the fears that existed within this person. And that by doing that, it really cost them, again, the crumbling of this situation, plus whatever else they were entertaining, which it feels like that really fell through as well. So this person really finding themselves at a loss, seeing how they kind of got in their own way. They were their own kind of worst enemy. And also then able to recognize a larger pattern in their life of how this has been their MO. This has been how they've been moving through the world. They also say, my heart melts every time you look into my eyes. So that's that energy of the heart chakra awakening, kind of these walls or these layers around their heart really being cracked open. This person really against their will almost, feeling this exquisite love, this very profound love, this very, this anguish of love that they have kept inside. They've kept it so tightly clenched and so tightly balled in them for so long, and it has burst forth. Those defenses have kind of melted. Their eyes are wide open to kind of what meets that signature of love that is within them, and it is this connection, is this situation with you. And again, kind of bringing up these feelings of regret, of kind of having self-sabotaged this, nowhere to hide from this anymore. There's no way to kind of deny this. There is an element of choice to be able to kind of go back and try to fit themselves, contort themselves into that energy of the mask and the persona that they've been moving through. But it's almost like something's been awakened or opened within this person, that even that would not be a successful kind of endeavor for them, that it would be even more of a struggle than it was before to kind of stuff themselves down within that persona. The other element of choice then being presented to kind of move in the direction of love. Again, this doesn't feel like somebody who's at this point right now of being able to entertain the possibility, and maybe it doesn't exist. This may have been such a grievous situation you would not entertain this person back into your life at any point in time, and there's an awareness of that they have, so they're not entertaining that as a possibility, reconciliation necessarily as a conscious or tangible possibility at this point in time, but still the vibration of what they touched on with you, it represents another road, the road toward love, the road toward that heart-centered living, and making choices to not fit into what other people might think, not listen to, the opinions of others who might criticize one's choice in love, or who might question that or might not understand that in love and in other aspects of life. This feels like somebody who's going through this giant awakening in a lot of ways. And all of that has really been sparked and spurred by what has taken place, the energy they've touched on with you, and kind of the aftermath, the results that they are then left to kind of sit with and deal with of their choices and decisions and what has taken place. And they also say, I am undergoing an amazing awakening. I am finding myself along the way. Please be patient with me. So another confirmation of that energy of the awakening, the heart chakra activation, a lot really changing and shifting for this person. They are not the same person that you were last dealing with. There is something very spiritual going place within them. There's a metamorphosis on almost an energetic level that is taking place. And their thoughts and feelings at this point seem to just really be very self-focused, very, not in a selfish sense, but in a reflective sense. They're really being confronted with a lot of shadows at this point in time. They're in a valley, they're in this darkness. There are thoughts of you and thoughts of this connection and what has happened, but these almost feel to be signposts that are then leading them into these kind of areas of themselves, these wounds, these deficiencies, these kind of falsities about themselves that they're needing to come to terms with. They're needing to accept themselves in this capacity in order to, be able to create some kind of change in how they are moving through the world, and the possibility of, even closure happening for you in the future, or for those of you that would entertain this person back into your life, either romantically or as a friend in some capacity. There's a lot of internal work that needs to take place before they're at that point of being able to have something of value to offer. But kind of the experiences with you and with this connection, it's that, again, these signposts, this motivation, it's this map to all these things that have been overlooked within this person, all these shadows that have been really kind of out in the forefront, really calling the shots in this person's life, and how they're able to then reflect on that and recognize that by operating out of that energy of distortion and shadow, it has led to very shadowy results in their life and in this connection. So I'm going to get some guidance from Spirit for you now, group 2. Okay, and we have listen with your heart. You are listening, but need to hear with a loving heart. So this is really encouragement to have some compassion for this person at this point in time. As difficult as that might be based on kind of the energy of what is coming through for you, Group 2, this feels like a very sort of deeply disappointing, very painful ending with this person. A lot of betrayal, somebody who is really operating deeply out of shadows. So it might be very difficult to be in that space of compassion for them. It's very natural and very appropriate to feel that pain and to feel that disappointment. It's very important to honor that. It's an act of self-love to, really declare and really stand in that truth that, the way that someone treated you is not acceptable, that you are worthy of so much more, that this situation has almost been kind of that invitation for you to take your power back, to know your worth, to kind of increase what you are willing to accept and to entertain from other people. To really speak your needs and stand by that and advocate for yourself, to not tolerate people in situations that would treat you like that, would treat you like an option, or would come to you with this very false energy. And so kind of the experience with this person, this can really be that sort of lesson for you to, see beyond, listen beyond the words that are spoken, the honey words that are presented, or even kind of that element maybe of sort of the fantasy, this hope of maybe this person will change, maybe things will get better. Maybe it's kind of these behaviors or this resistance that they're displaying. If I just love them enough, then maybe they will change. Maybe things will, again, improve. That this situation is really that encouragement to, listen to the subtleties, listen to the energy that you are receiving. If something feels off, trust that. If your kind of instincts are telling you, or your experience is telling you that, a situation is kind of crossing into the territory that doesn't feel comfortable for you, where you're not being honored, you're not being valued, you're not being appreciated, then this circumstance can have really been that kind of lesson for you about making different and better choices in love, choosing yourself over kind of the hope or the vision or the potential that exists within somebody to figure things out, to change their ways, to appreciate you, that there is a heart out there that will love you. There is a person out there who will see your value, who will know your worth, who will come to you in a very honest energy with integrity, will not be playing games or presenting masks or juggling you or allowing kind of the negativity or the judgment or opinions of others to really cloud and determine what direction they move in terms of their own heart, in terms of their own emotions and their own happiness. And so again, kind of cultivating compassion for this person, but it feels like also compassion for yourself, for what you've been through with this person, applauding yourself for how difficult this has been and what has been necessary in order to kind of pick up the pieces from this. Even in terms of whatever is displayed by this person at this point in time, whatever they are going through, sort of reflecting on your experience with the heart chakra awakening, your experience with the dark night of the soul, your experience of spiritual awakening, and understanding how different you are on the other side of that process. Not putting your life on hold, not holding out hope, not making your own healing contingent on this person seeing the light and changing their ways and coming forward to say anything. But at the same time, really recognizing kind of what they might be going through at this point in time. And again, looking back at who you were before, who you've become after, or even during or through the process of awakening that is taking place for you, and understanding that change is possible. Like this person was saying, do I still have a chance? And this energy of not being sure, is it too late to change? It's never too late to change. It's never too late to choose a different road, to choose a different way of kind of dealing with people and dealing with matters of the heart. And so really just, again, kind of holding that compassion for this person, cultivating that as much as necessary or as much as is possible for you at this point in time. while they're in this process of kind of unraveling and this deep unfolding that is, or unfoldment that is happening within them at this point in time. Listening to your heart as well, if this is a connection, a situation where you feel that there could be something of benefit to be gained if this person were to, kind of go through this process fully, make this change, come to you with the best apology, which is in the form of changed action, changed behavior. Listen to your heart if this person kind of reintroduces themselves to your life. Does it feel right? Or is everything kind of matching up, or is this more of just the same energy that you were used to dealing with before? But then also listening to your heart if this feels like a situation that for your own kind of peace of mind, your own benefit, that it's necessary to just kind of close the door. It's not somebody you would entertain back in. It's again not waiting on this person for an apology or for a change in order to create that healing for yourself, but listening to your heart. What do you need to be happy? What do you need to kind of move beyond this? What do you need to come to terms with this? And also listening to the truth of your heart that, no matter how painful and confusing this experience with this person has been, not all people will treat you like this. Not allowing this situation to kind of embitter you, but letting this situation be kind of that vehicle, that means to which you better yourself, to which you become more compassionate, you become more loving in spite of this circumstance, in spite of this person, and most importantly, for yourself first and foremost. So I'm going to get some initials for you now. Group 2, this could be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Got M, W, H, D, Y, Z, C, F, N, I, J, Q, O, and X. So those are your messages, group 2. I hope they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. When you do that, it helps the video to reach others who might resonate with these messages, get some kind of peace or confirmation by what came through in the reading, and it also helps my channel to grow, so I deeply appreciate that. If you would like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry, and I just started making and adding in some handmade dream catchers and sun catchers if you're interested in checking any of that out as well. Again, the link is in the description box of the video. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 3. You chose the Ruby Zoisite, along with these cards, which I'll start with to get an idea about what are their hidden thoughts and secret feelings about you in the connection. Got the Magician, King of Swords, the Sun, Three of Wands, Occupation, Chaos and Conflict, and Forgiveness. So this person is thinking about a fresh start with you. With the Magician, somebody who is maybe trying to actively manifest a new opportunity with you. Somebody who, in the aftermath of some kind of a separation or distance which has occurred between you with chaos and conflict, some kind of a fight, maybe not seeing things eye to eye, kind of your roads diverging at some point in time, that some clarity has come to this person, that their life feels better with you in it, that a decision that was made to distance themselves or not invest as fully in this connection, with Occupation maybe to focus on work as opposed, or other kind of goals and dreams and kind of milestones they were seeking to kind of reach or achieve in this lifetime, that it's kind of been at the expense of love. And it's something to where they may have kind of reached that point of accomplishment, or things have kind of reached this period of a doldrum in that endeavor, and whatever that choice was. This can even talk about kind of somebody who, may have felt that investing fully in this connection, or to continue in this connection, was moving in another direction from how they had envisioned their life going. You might have come into their life very unexpectedly. The manner of the two of you meeting might have been very unorthodox for this person. And they made a choice to continue down that road they had paved, that plan they had made for themselves, these goals, these expectations, even kind of a timing or the circumstance of where they thought they would find love, or what that would kind of look like. But again, they've kind of come to this place of doldrum within themselves, where they're missing your presence. They're missing the sunlight, the sunshine that you brought into their world. It almost feels that things are very almost dreary or mundane for this person. It's just a lot of the same old, day in and day out, just a sense of routine. That at one point in time, prior to meeting you, prior to interacting with you, almost because they didn't know any better, that it was something they were able to really be very content with. It was something that, fulfilled them, kind of the predictability of their life to a certain level, kind of this idea of routine in some way, and almost to the point of getting stuck in a rut, so to speak. That they're really starting to see how kind of the joy or the presence that you have added to their existence, that it made their world a lot more bright. This person can also, with that idea of wanting to manifest a fresh start with you in this chaos and conflict, that they are really torn between reaching out, declaring something, taking some kind of a solid step in the material world to turn the page in this situation with the King of Swords, to speak some kind of truth, deliver some kind of clarity, maybe something that they've realized or that they've seen, or to, again, kind of reach out with this very direct energy that kind of cuts through any sort of suggestion that might be there, or if this is someone that's still in your life to some capacity, or to cut through the silence that has existed, to reestablish that communication, to move back in your direction. There's a sense here too with this chaos and conflict, and it's this imagery of a zebra who has giraffe skin. And that skin is kind of, that almost cloak that they're wearing is kind of, it's crumbling away almost to reveal kind of the authenticity of who they are. That this could have been somebody who was trying to almost fit themselves into a certain package, into a certain way of being. Almost that routine that they had themselves in, that they're now starting to realize isn't in alignment with their highest good. It isn't in alignment with their idea of happiness, that something has really been touched, something has really been activated in this person at a deep soul level through this connection, through the interaction with you. And they're really starting to see how kind of the life that they were living, or the goals that they had, or the values that they had, that it was based on this level of inauthenticity, or it doesn't fit with who they truly are, that in some way you have illuminated a part of this person, that maybe is having them call into question again kind of how they're basing their reality, what they're prioritizing, goals they have set for themselves, the potential of what they see as possible for themselves, for their life. And there's a sense of just this kind of malaise, or this disappointment, this discontent with the world they have around them, that though it may fill their material needs, it might be something that is very well known and familiar to them, it's lackluster. It's almost a degree of not being motivated anymore to kind of participate in the things that they had been, to invest in what they had been investing in. Somebody who's really thinking about you, thinking about this connection. You've really caused them to see things from a different perspective. Somebody who has this desire to also, again, with that King of Swords and this forgiveness, deliver maybe some kind of an apology, even in the sense of just opening up on a deeper level emotionally, becoming more clear about kind of their feelings for you that they might have really held back on in the past, so that whatever kind of wall or impasse that the two of you have come to, where maybe this person made a decision to kind of stay in that comfort zone, or to focus on something else, not focus on this connection, there's a sense of them seeing the light with the sun as well, and really wanting to move beyond that. Somebody who is now recognizing that comfort zone is kind of this shadow energy, and is wanting to create balance, or kind of a fresh energy for themselves by kind of stepping into that higher self, stepping into this light of authenticity, the true nature of their highest good, what they're being called toward, at a soul level, maybe even drastic changes, and again, how they are kind of living their life in a material sense. This is somebody who might be kind of practicing techniques of law of attraction and manifestation. Somebody who's heavily thinking about you, thinking about this connection, thinking about that fresh start, thinking about what the next step between you could look like. And investing so much into that they are essentially trying very consciously to call this in, to bring that horizon closer to them. Somebody who is, just really kind of interested in moving beyond something that they have outgrown. A lifestyle, a job that they used as an excuse, a career path they used as an excuse to not investing in this fully, or just other things in their material world that just don't provide them that satisfaction any longer, that there's this truth, this clarity that has happened, that in some way you are this wish fulfillment, that you are this kind of bright future that they've been hoping for. They see you also as almost this guide that is really lighting the way to kind of what's next for this person, or a wider horizon that they didn't know was possible, that you touch them in a level of emotion that nobody has really been able to reach before. You fill this person with a sense of optimism that they are really unaccustomed to when dealing with other people. This could be somebody who is very kind of intellectual, somebody who's very kind of introspective, is very practical in what they, kind of how they move through the world, somebody who's not a deeply emotional person, and it's almost that you've activated this emotional part of them. You're helping them to step more into that energy of vulnerability, to kind of take off that falseness, that armor of intellectualism, and step into that emotional body, to allow themselves to be tender, and to dream, and to hope, and to wish, and to look toward the future. To look beyond whatever these material circumstances are that they find themselves in, to the possibility of something else, of a different portion of themselves coming forth. You're helping this person to really recognize their own authenticity as well, crumbling down maybe even years of kind of misconceptions, distortions that had really been kind of fixed to this person by other people, the opinions of others, or kind of this prescription of what they should be doing, what success looks like. that they had really adopted that, they embodied that, they've been moving through the world in that capacity, but in some way, this connection has really sparked something for them to where all of that is crumbling away and it's being replaced with kind of this unearthing of who they are and their most authentic self. They could again be very conflicted, kind of this back and forth about reaching out to you, not wanting to do things too quickly, not feeling very comfortable with kind of emotional depths, and therefore not really certain about how to express themselves, how to articulate themselves in a manner that would create something very prosperous out of this. There's kind of this fear of making matters worse, or perhaps the words that they would speak not coming out right because this is not part of their innate love language. It's, talking about their feelings or loving affirmations. But this is somebody who is maybe taking steps in the material world to do that, who might be kind of researching things, taking steps, maybe doing some self-help classes, or just kind of opening their mind to different ways to get in touch with that emotional body, working on maybe some inner child wounds as well with forgiveness that have really been kind of this armor against kind of that tenderness, that emotional side of themselves that they may have really grown up in an environment where emotions weren't talked about. They were taught to just be compartmentalized and you move forward. And so this person in this process of kind of unraveling a lot of that conditioning, so that they can raise their vibration, so that they can come to you in this very empowered energy, not as a person that you need to, necessarily carry and to kind of help through that process of unfolding, but somebody who comes to you with these tools, with something to offer, something of value in order to really be able to create some kind of change in this situation, some kind of a solid progression toward that happiness, toward what they have sampled with you, that now off of the distance or the absence of that, they're feeling that loss very acutely, and it's something that they want more of that. They want the return to that, this idea almost of the return to innocence, and a sense of you really renewing hope within this person, that this life that they have been living, maybe a feeling that they had of, being okay with not having deep emotional connection, being okay with not having that deep loving partnership, and then something about this connection with you has really sparked and awakened that they can have that too. They can have all these other things they've worked toward, and that there's the ability to make room in their life for love. And so their thoughts and feelings, they're thinking about that, ways to do that, ways to kind of clear some space, or to extend their perceptions of what they feel that they are worthy of, what they are capable of generating, what they're capable of having for themselves, stepping into this place of really being very empowered, that they can have all of these things. They can have the success, they can have that sense of certainty, they can have that personal power, they can have that love. All of these things are possible. It's not a matter of either or, it's a matter of and that you've really helped to open this person's eyes to that they've been living almost in this kind of black and white existence, and you've introduced them to this whole spectrum of colors of what else is possible, how even kind of the experience and the enjoyment of some victories that they've had, some accomplishments they've had, some milestones, goals that they have reached, kind of the sense of it's sweeter when accompanied by the honey of love. So I'm going to get some messages from this person's higher self for you now, group 3, and see what do they want to say. Okay, and they say, I miss seeing you. So that's that energy of missing that sunshine that you represent in their life. They're really looking back on the times that you spent, maybe, as kind of the connection was sort of building, those initial stages where, things felt very new, very fresh, very exciting, very much outside of this person's element normally. And that could have been something that they really kind of pushed that away or distanced themselves or kind of closed off to, because it was so outside of maybe this very logical or kind of practical or goal-oriented sort of perception or values that they had. And they're feeling almost that they have they put themselves in kind of this dreary existence by not seizing more opportunities with you, by not kind of bringing this energy, finding a way to kind of bring this connection forth onward toward whatever those other goals were that they were building for themselves. And this can also be somebody who's maybe looking back on pictures of you, pictures the two of you have together, or if you have social media, this can be somebody who's really looking at your photos online, or if you don't have any social media, they don't have your photos, anything like that. This is somebody who's just kind of tapping into you energetically, or maybe thinking on these memories that are like photographs for them, that are etched into their mind, etched into their heart of when they spent time with you, when they saw you, when they had an exchange with you, and that all of this is kind of this album that they are referring to. It is that point of contrast, kind of that joy, that uplifting vibration compared to whatever it is that they have else going on in their life right now, which it feels like for a lot of these people that it's just kind of focusing on some other things, on tangible things, maybe things to do with work, other goals that they have been kind of moving towards at the expense of love, and it just feeling very kind of dim and cold in that sense, not having that love to share these victories with, and a sense of longing. They also say, I don't know why this happened. So there is a little bit of being kind of frustrated now that something has been illuminated for this person. You've helped them step out of that black and white existence. It's very difficult for them to kind of go back and to be happy in whatever their routine is that they'd established for themselves. It's almost like now that they've seen the light, they can't unsee it. And so there's a questioning, like, why have you come into their life? Why did you come into their life in this way at this time when maybe they were focused on other things? They weren't open to love. They had some other goals that they wanted to reach, and it almost feels that at times this connection, and this could have been a reason they maybe pulled back, it almost felt like a distraction. It was something that was taking their focus away from whatever they had been concentrated on so heavily, that they're going over this in their mind, kind of that chaos and conflict, this urge to reach out, this urge to kind of pull you in closer, versus this other kind of aspect of themselves that wants to just kind of push this away, to try to, gather their thoughts, gather their energy, to be able to refocus again more intently on whatever they'd been moving towards. They also say, I am recovering. So this can talk about, creating some kind of space within them, within their life, within the way that they are even perceiving themselves, to make that room for that energy of and. They can have it all. They can have the success. They can have that personal power. They can have that love. It's somebody who is, again, maybe investing in some kind of self-help methods, some tools to kind of heal some inner child wounds within themselves, some things that had really, where they had come to equate kind of emotions with shame, where they had compartmentalized, kind of created that armor of intellectualism or a very practical disposition at the expense of love, kind of shutting that off, not investing in that. This is somebody who's learning to express their emotions, express them first and foremost to themselves, to really sit with and understanding what they are feeling, how that manifests for them physically, kind of seeking to, in different ways, kind of speak their truth, speak their heart, maybe even kind of practicing that with coworkers or with family or with friends, just being more clear about their wants and their needs and their desires and feelings about things. All of that really being kind of the template or the practice for what they want to kind of deliver in this situation, a heartfelt conversation, a heart-to-heart conversation, some kind of truth about the way they feel about you and the sunshine that you are to them that they had held back on in the past. Okay, and they say, when I lose myself and feel imbalanced, you keep me grounded. So you've given this person a sense of perspective that was really lacking for them before. Since meeting you, since coming into your life, they're really recognizing how they had been almost not experiencing the fullness of what was possible in life and in connections with other people. They're starting to really recognize how, the life they had been living, or what they had convinced themselves they were content with, all they needed, all they wanted, that this was so minimal compared to the potential of what was out there for them. It's something to where, again, the victories that they are experiencing or that they're working towards it, that they're imagining, they're almost seeing it as these things would be so much better with that sweetness of love, that honey of love, with the sunshine of your presence along with them. It's really bringing into perspective as well just how almost the mediocrity they are feeling about their life now, that they had almost been settling or depriving themselves of this very rich experience. I mean, this is beyond even whatever the nature of your interactions were with each other or are with each other at this point in time. There's a sense of invigoration within this person, a sense of almost coming to life, this authenticity, the true self really coming forth, to where they're starting to recognize how they'd been depriving themselves, really questioning how they had been living their life up to this point, and understanding that there is so much more to be experienced and to be known and to be felt than they had ever even known was possible or had allowed themselves to experience or see. That this connection, that you really kind of broke that open for this person. They also say, I can see clearly now, I am no longer in denial. So somebody who might have convinced himself that they didn't need love, they didn't need partnership, that their happiness was residing in kind of this sense of acquisitiveness or these goals or this achievement of kind of accolades or fame or accomplishment in some other sense. They're recognizing that that was really denying a crucial component of them, a crucial component of fulfillment, that emotional component that they've really been missing in their life, that this connection that you has really turned them on to. It has really brought that awareness to them, that there's so much more to be experienced, that, the sweet moments have the potential to become so much sweeter, again, infused with that kind of vibration of love that exists between the two of you and that you bring into their world. They also say, I'm sorry I ghosted you and stopped communicating. It was never my intention to hurt you. So this can really talk about someone who, again, is not really comfortable with expressing their feelings, somebody who just compartmentalizes or is very logical and very practical. And so it feels like something that they are in the process of working on, trying to come up with some better communication skills, trying to come up with better ways of getting in touch with their feelings and making these things known. But in the past, when you were dealing with this person, they could have just gone very cold or just kind of abruptly pulled away their energy, or just kind of cut things off very kind of immediately, almost harshly, and just kind of despite this kind of palpable chemistry between the two of you, then these actions really displaying something else, this kind of unwillingness that at the soul level, at the energetic level, you could feel that the two of you were so compelled, so enmeshed with one another, and then it's almost like this wall came up where they weren't going to allow that, and trying to kind of fit back into that sort of box of whatever it is that they were focusing on. They're very much aware of that. They're aware of kind of the confusion and the hurt that caused to you. And they're acknowledging as well that their actions, the words that were spoken, are very much in contrast to what they were feeling inside. But this is, again, somebody who's in this process of needing to kind of expand their love language. Maybe this is somebody who their love language is gifts, or spending time with one another. And there's almost been this deficit or this deficiency in them about, talking about their feelings, expressing these things, stepping into that place of vulnerability to let their heart be seen and to see another at that heart level. But it's something that they're working on. And again, this idea of ghosting and a lack of communication, they're really torn between reaching out, expressing some kind of truth, making their feelings known, declaring their feelings for you, their love for you, or kind of that blossoming potential that they really sense and experience with you. But then also really being held back, feeling that it's not quite the time yet. There's things that they need to work on in themselves, or just being a little almost skittish of stepping out of that comfort zone and into the realm of really talking about feelings, which feels that it's kind of outside of this person's usual nature. So I'm going to get some guidance for you, group 3, about the situation. Okay, and we have be supportive. Make a genuine effort to show you care. So this is really some guidance for you to be patient with this person. They are in a process of really trying to step beyond their comfort zone. It almost feels like they're really making up for lost time in a lot of ways, that this kind of method of being very practical in their approach, being very logical, kind of keeping emotions at bay. This could be something that was learned through childhood. It took a long time to kind of come to this point for them, and it also will take not as long, but some time to really dismantle handle these things, to step out of that comfort zone. This feels like somebody also that with that idea of a genuine effort to show you care. For a lot of you, you might be hearing from this person. And when you do, it could be a bit wobbly. Again, this feels outside of their comfort zone. And so they might kind of stutter or be sort of nervous or kind of have this energy where they're opening up only to kind of clam up again, to kind of pull back in the shell, not completely ghost and pull away, but just to kind of retreat back into that comfort zone of logic, of practical, only to kind of ebb back into this sort of emotional stance again, not in the sense of breadcrumbing, but just it may take them some time and kind of this process to kind of get more and more comfortable with expressing themselves on the emotional level. So again, being very patient with that, being very supportive of this person, recognizing the work and effort that they are putting in, even if this is something where you're still at a distance from them, you're most likely able to feel this energetically as you feel them kind of coming closer to you energetically. That all of that can really be indicative of, again, this kind of work, this contemplation, thought that is being put into this. Of wanting to change, wanting to step out into that light, wanting to open up their heart to love more than they had in the past, or to do that again in this situation. So sending this person loving vibrations in return, being receptive to them and what they are able to give, and kind of the organic pace that they are needing to open up to this. This can, while at the same time, really staying true to what it is you need, not settling for less than what you need, but just being open-minded, listening with an open heart, experiencing them with an open heart, kind of looking at the situation from that wider lens, seeing the forest through the trees, and understanding that it might be a process for this person to really, again, step fully out of that comfort zone, but that efforts are being made. There is this genuine desire to move back towards you, move back toward kind of the sunshine that you two had experienced together. This person really in this process of trying to figure out and find ways, and it might, again, be sort of a wobbly process to make room in their life, to open up to that emotional capacity, that emotional body that for so long had been neglected. And so, it's something where it might even be like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or just kind of this sort of a little bit of a chaotic energy, but it's something which will kind of smooth out. It's something that the two of you can really work on together. You being that kind of anchor point of saying, this is what I need, this is what I want, and allowing that person to kind of rise to meet you at a pace that is comfortable with them, so that those changes can be genuine. It can come from a place of choice and authenticity within them, and so that over time they can become more accustomed to that, feel safer in that space of making their heart known, and seeing that it is received with compassion and with understanding and with gratitude. So I'm going to get some initials for you now. Group 3, this can be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Got X, T, K, G, F, N, H, M, V, S, L, Q, and D. So those are your messages, group 3. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. When you do that, it helps the video to reach others who might resonate with these messages, get some kind of peace or confirmation from what came through in the reading. And it also helps my channel to grow, so I deeply appreciate that. If you would like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry, and I just started making and adding in handmade dream catchers and sun catchers. So if you're interested in checking any of that out, again, link to my Etsy shop is in the description box of the video. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.